What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. It's your boy Naughty. So today, like I said in the previous video, I am going to show you guys, and we're going to go over my feature match at the States Championships. States Championships. There we go. And we were only in one feature match, and this was our top 8 match, as you can see on the left-hand side in the video. And we will discuss, like I said, and hopefully you guys can learn some things and also for your entertainment. Now, let's start with the video. So we lost the die roll. I was going against my friend Ron, and he is playing the Kashtira Regenesis, and obviously we're playing our Cyber Dragon Fiendsmith Kashtira deck. Okay, so we lost the die roll. Ron is going first. In our opening hand, I think I remember I had Cyber Dragon Core and Fiendsmith trapped, unless I drew into it, and I did have a hand trap. I just can't remember what the hand trap is, and the other two cards I can't remember. But let's start with the video. So our opponent is going, and Ron actually bricked this game. You will see right now what he does with his hand. It's a hand me knowing he was playing Kashtira Regenesis, it's fine. But like if I didn't know and I see him set 4, I'll be thinking, oh damn, he's playing Labyrinth or something. And then he actually set a monster. So I was like, yeah, this is bad. And I was thinking in my mind, this is probably 2 imperms, 3 imperms, who knows. The other trap, I am not sure, could be Regenesis Birth. Or maybe they're just bluffs. So I drew for turn. Oh yeah, I drew into draw. That's what I drew for turn. And what's important here is we need to try and navigate through this board. And in my mind, I was thinking, cool, 3 imperms. I need to see how I can bait out his back row. And obviously, since we had Fiendsmith tracked, I decided I'm going to start with Fiendsmith engine first. I believe I had no Kashtira engine, so just Fiendsmith and Cyber Dragons. So obviously, we activate tracked effect. We'll add Lui. We discard Lui's effect, mandatory, to special summon itself. And then we'll use it to link summon into Fiendsmith Requiem. I was checking if they maybe had a Solemn Strike just in case he's playing it. I don't know his deck list, of course, but no Solemn Strike, so we use Requiem effect, and that will special summon the Lacrima from our deck. Once I find it, that is. There we go, eventually. So summon Lacrima, and then we're going to use Lacrima effect. Obviously, we will send our Engraver because we have no Engraver in our hand or in the graveyard yet, so we'll send the Engraver. And then from here, I was thinking, what do I want to go into? Do I want to go into DDD Wave Hiking Caesar? But then I figured he still has back row, and then we can just we can go into Fiendsmith Sequence. Sequence will be a good bait. Obviously, opponent will imperm if they have it, or use something to stop us from going to Fiendsmith Requiem from this point on, after we used Engraver's effect to shuffle back our Lui to reborn itself. Here, I activated Requiem to equip to Lacrima. I did decide I'm going to Fiendsmith Sequence, but I just wanted to see if my opponent will activate something to stop us from going into either Sequence or Necroquip Princess. While Requiem was equipped to Lacrima, I used Engraver's effect just to send Requiem and his face down monster, because Engraver says it sends 1 monster. Turns out the set card is for Walos. So from here, we then link summon into Sequence, and then I'll use its effect, and as planned, our opponent will use a back row, and one of them was a set imperm. Sequence is going to get negated. So now here, I believe I had Cyberdark Realm. I did not have Cyber Emergency or Cyber Dragon Core, so we're using the Cyberdark Realm combo. Cyberdark Realm will be activated, and we're going to add Cyberdark Chimera to our hand. My opponent just wanted to make sure just to read the cards, and then I think he asked to read the card that I was adding, so my opponent will just take a minute or two just to read the cards. And then obviously next we will use the effect of Cyberdark Realm to normal summon our Chimera. Remember to use that effect, guys. Don't actually use up your normal summon, guys. Don't do that. So yeah, Cyberdark. Oh, actually, I see I could be doing something else. Probably forgot something. Yeah, I was thinking. Actually, I do remember. I was thinking whether I want to. I did have Cyber Dragon Hertz actually. Now I remember. I was thinking, do I want to normal summon the Hertz first, or do I want to normal summon Cyber Dark Realm? And then I was thinking, if I normal summon the Hertz, I can link summon into SP using Sequence and Hertz. However, SP does not point down. I'll just pause here quick. SP does not point down, so I can't use Cyberdark Chimera to link into Clockwork Knight. So I decided, no, I shouldn't do that. I should rather just normal summon my Cyberdark Realm, see if he does anything, and then I can leave Cyber Dragon Hertz to normal summon for last, and then I can go into SP. So that was my thinking. But on the resolution of the normal summon, Ron is going to activate Regenesis Birth. As cost, he will send Regenesis Archfiend to grave. He's going to target our Chimera, and essentially that will just Book of Moon, flip it face down, which is really good. It's really good for him. It stops us from accessing our Power Bond or sending it to grave right now, as we will use it to go into Clockwork Knight. Just wanted to read Regenesis Birth. I know it has another effect. I believe you send it to grave and it will just reborn as many Regenesis monsters, either from graveyard only or from graveyard and banishment. So guys, we have two more set cards. Could be two imperms. Still got to navigate through this board and see if we can set up something, some disruptions, or just probably OTK our opponent. I was just checking Clockwork Knight because I wanted to read if it can still send our face down Cyberdark Chimera to grave, and I believe it can because it just says tribute one other machine monster. So even though Cyberdark Chimera is face down, it's still a machine monster. Unless I'm wrong. If you guys know the rulings for that, let me know, but I believe that is correct. As you can see, I'm busy thinking what to do, what to start off with, but I am looking at the Cyber Dragon Hertz in my hand, and I'll use it to normal summon. Here, I'm essentially either going to Clockwork Knight, but I figured I can also go into SP. However, there's two back row. So instead, to try bait it out, I'll link into Clockwork Knight, see if I can get the continuous spell Clockwork Knight to my hand. Chainlink 1 Clockwork Knight, Chainlink 2 Hertz. Oh, sorry about that. Our opponent is going to chain Imperm to negate the Clockwork Knight, so we only get our search of Cyber Dragon Hertz, and we'll add our OG Cyber Dragon to our hand. So guys, now we have one more set card to try play through. Now here, obviously, we have no further plays. Clockwork Knight is negated. We can't send Cyberdark Chimera to grave. So straight here, we go into SP. SP, I decide to banish his Regenesis Birth. It is a one-off, I believe, and I don't want him to get that effect down the line where he can just send it to grave to reborn as many Regenesis monsters. Just one more set card, and here I don't have any further plays. I did have Call By in my hand, and I decided to call by his Regenesis Archfiend so that he cannot add it back to his hand, and if he does top deck into someone that enables his plays, we can stop him. But my opponent had a set Crossout, so that was the last card, guys, and obviously he will activate Crossout to negate our Call By so that he can still add Regenesis Archfiend to his hand. And here I had no further plays. So I believe that I did proceed to end phase to pass for turn. And in the end phase, Ron will activate Regenesis Archfiend's effect. It will be added to his hand because it was sent to grave during our turn. That's how the Regenesis cards work. They only add themselves back to hand during the opponent's turn if they are sent to graveyard. Not during the players, well, the person playing Regenesis, but rather the Sorry, some technical difficulties right there. My opponent just wanted to know what was in my hand. Obviously, it's just a Cyber Dragon that they know of. So opponent drew for turn, and he was looking what's in his grave, and then he told me he is passing for turn. So in the end phase, I decided I'll use Lacrima's effect to reborn the Requiem, and now we can start our turn. I'm just going to skip through so it's quicker. Alright, we draw for turn. Cannot remember what we drew into. Standby, main phase. Opponent has no response. So in the main phase, we're obviously going to first start with our Fiendsmith plays. I'm not flipping up Cyberdark Chimera yet in case my opponent had Nurb. I believe Nurb only attributes face-up monsters, so we're going to keep it face down. Now here's the goal. Opponent has no set cards, no back row, so we will establish our DDD Wave High King Caesar. So Requiem effect, It's going to summon Lacrima from grave. Since we do have Engraver already, here I decide to send the Fiendsmith Paradise to grave. And then next we will activate Engraver's effect. Engraver will shuffle back the sequence. We are keeping the Requiem in grave, sorry. So summon Engraver, shuffling back our sequence. Next, we will use Requiem's effect and Requiem's effect, and it's going to equip itself to our Lacrima. And now here you can simply contact fuse into Necroquip Princess. I was just thinking what I could possibly do with my hand. If I can just simply go and attack for game, if it'll be enough damage, but it won't be enough damage yet, so I'll just straight away go into DDD Wave Hiking Caesar. And our opponent did not nib us before it, so it means they don't have nib. But at least we have DDD Wave Hiking Caesar established, and now I do have Cyberdark Worm in my hand. It could have been in my opening hand. I wasn't sure. So the next step, we're going to activate Cyberdark Worm. I'm not flipping up Cyberdark Chimera yet. We're going to go Cyberdark Worm effect. As cost, we're going to send, I believe, Cyber Dragon Hertz. We already have one copy engraved, but we'll probably send the other copy. No, we actually sent Cyber Dragon Core. Oh yeah, because we already have Cyber Dragon in our hand. My mistake. But from here, my friend does know what happens from here. We can simply go into further down the line, either Infinity Place or just simply into Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon to kill our opponent. He had no response, so he just scoops. So guys, we take game 1, which is fantastic. I will just skip ahead so we don't waste time. Now here I'm thinking, what can I side against Kashtira Regenesis? So in my side deck, I do have Droplet, Lightning Storm, Lancia, Chaos Hunter, and Dimensional Barrier. D-Barrier obviously does not work. They hardly go into the extra deck because they are locked out of it. But Droplet does work, and Lightning Storm. So we can clear their back row or destroy their face-up attack position monsters, and Droplet can negate their monsters, which is really good. So I do side in my Droplets and my Lightning Storms with the Hoppy's Feather Duster. Let me just skip on ahead. Okay, now we go into game number 2. And now this time, Ron is going first, obviously, and this time he doesn't brick, guys. He actually has plays. Now, I do remember most of the cards I drew into my opening hand. We had a Lancia, Chaos Hunter, Droplet, Clockwork Knight, and I cannot... and a Cyber Dragon Nashta. Yes, Cyber Dragon Nashta, I believe. So that was our opening hand. Obviously, there is no play there. We cannot do anything, but let's see how it goes. Ron has Droll, and that's actually the only card I can see right now. Regenesis Archery, 2 copies actually, and I believe Regenesis Birth. I could be that. Oh, okay. We did have Fualos in our hand. My mistake. So we do activate Fualos during the standby phase, not in main phase, not to play into talents. Fualos doesn't effectively work against Kashtira Regenesis. I do know they have a card, one of the Genesis cards, that allows them to special summon from deck, especially Kashtira, because they could be playing Kashtira Theosis. So I did decide to play Fualos just in case Ron does decide to activate those cards to special summon from deck. Ron is going to start with Regenesis Archery, showing another copy of Regenesis Archery, summon it, and use its effect to search for any Regenesis card. But I decide to ash that. My opponent did have Regenesis Code. I believe that's Regenesis Code. I believe it allows him to add a Regenesis monster to hand, or a monster with 2500 attack and defense. I probably could have ashed the Regenesis Code. Okay, we'll wait for that. However, since Regenesis Archfiend is able to add any Regenesis card to his hand, I just thought that's probably a good ash for my opponent. Oh, okay, sorry guys. I told you what was in my opening hand, but I'm actually skipping ahead. We had a different hand this game. I was talking about my hand in game 3. My apologies, my mistake. We actually had Ash and Fualos, as you can clearly see. I believe I may have had my board breakers. We're about to find out though. Okay, we draw for a turn, guys. We drew into a cyber emergency. Now, obviously, Sage is a negate on the field. That is the only monster interruption we know. We don't know the cards in his hand, but right now, obviously, I saw the draw. But at that time, obviously, I didn't know. Then we have one set card. Could be an Imperm, or could be the Regenesis Birth. So we enter the main phase, and now I am trying to think what to start off with. Don't want to play into draw. Can I bait out some hand traps with my hand? Oh, yes. So here you go, guys. Clockwork Knight. And I just had, oh, yeah, I had Lightning Storm, Droplet, and Imperm. There we go. Sorry, guys. We did not draw into Cyber Emergency. It was probably the Clockwork Knight that we drew into. My bad. I have such bad memory. So we set our Imperm, and we set our Droplet. I keep the Lightning Storm in hand, because obviously it does nothing. I don't use the Lightning Storm yet. I thought maybe I could save it. Since I have no plays, I can save it. And since I have Droplet, I can use it to just empty my board of face-up cards. And then when I want to start my plays, then I can use the Lightning Storm. So we just set 2 and pass. Opponent is now starting a turn. They enter the main phase. I am not sure what they drew into. We did not see that. Opponent is thinking if they can have some plays or if he will just simply enter battle phase and just deal some damage for us. We do see the Regenesis Archfiend and Regenesis Birth actually in his hand. So the set card is actually something else. Let me just skip on ahead. Yeah, so he switches Sage and Archfiend to attack, enters battle phase, and deals 5,000 damage. Which is quite a lot. Oh, sorry, 5,000. But because of Clockwork Knight, their monsters lose 500 attack, so instead we take 4,000 damage. So we draw for turn. I believe this time we did draw into a Fiendsmith Tract. So we have Fiendsmith Tract, and also we have Lightning Storm. Skipping ahead. So here I was thinking, how do I want to go about this? I do want to activate Lightning Storm to clear out his back row. I believe his back row is more troublesome for us, since we do have Droplet and Imperm just to negate the Sage. Now here, guys, I'll just pause. We made a mistake. I should have properly read my Lightning Storm. Lightning Storm, says if you control no face-up cards, you can activate it. I did not have to activate Imperm. I could have kept it set. I could have just simply used Droplet, then the Clockwork Knight to negate the Sage. And then since I have no face-up cards, I can just activate my Lightning Storm. But I made that mistake. I activated both my Imperm and my Droplet. Just to try negate or bait out the negate from the Sage. Whether I activated Droplet to negate the Sage, even if he negates the Droplet, it's perfectly fine. I just wanted to send my face-up card to the grave. And now you see, I activate Lightning Storm, and we're going to clear out the opponent's back row, because Sage is already negated. Opponent is thinking what he can do, if he can activate a card in response. And here the set card was actually Dimensional Barrier, and he did call Fusion, which perfectly works for Ron. We cannot go into Necrocore Princess, nor can we go into Chimera Rampage Dragon. And as you can see, the last card in my hand was Fiendsmith Tract. I can't obviously OTK my opponents. Can't set up a big board. I can't go into Desiree or Necrocore Princess. So the only card I can go to is use the Lacrima and Engraver to just go into SP, and at least I can have Lacrima and Requiem engrave for disruption to my opponent's turn. So we activate Tract, add Lurie, discard Lurie. Lurie effect will reborn itself. And then we will use Lurie to link summon into Requiem. Activate Requiem. My opponent did not have Ash, so we'll summon our Lacrima. Lacrima effect is going to send our Engraver. And now here we will obviously use our Engraver's effect, shuffle back the Lurie to reborn itself. And now here, since obviously I can just equip the Requiem to Lacrima, I obviously can't go into Necrocore Princess, but I could possibly use Engraver's effect to send one of his monsters to grave. However, that just works for Ron because simply in the end phase, he can just add it back to his hand. Here I was thinking, should I use it? Which monsters should I send? Or should I simply go into SP Little Knight? It did take a few minutes for me to think, but I was just deciding, oh, I could simply attack into them, but that also does not work, guys. The monsters will just go back to his hand. So here I was just thinking for long. I will quickly just skip through all this. And I decide, cool, let me send the Sage. I am not going to send the Archfiend because the Archfiend does start his plays. Sage, he'll just add it back to his hand and summon. So here, after sending the Sage to Grave, I will then use Engraver and Lacrima to link summon into SP. SP has 1600 attack, unfortunately, so we just link summon and put Lacrima in Grave. So we proceed to the end phase. Our opponent is going to start their turn. They draw for turn. And also, just keynote, Sage did go back to his hand during the end phase. Okay, so opponent will start off using Kashtira Regenesis, revealing the Sage, summon it, and use its effect obviously to search. Okay, so now our opponent is thinking whether to summon the Sage or they can have, as he just done, Regenesis Archfiend to reveal the Sage and summon it. Now, my opponent did, I believe, decide not to activate the Archfiend because we could chain SP to banish one of his monsters. It could have not made a difference whether he activated the effect because it will empty our board and he could summon the Sage. And okay, I guess we still had the Requiem play, so never mind. Lacrima will come to our field in defense mode to protect us, so he can't win or kill us for game. But here I decide to use Lacrima effect. We'll summon our Requiem. And now here I was thinking, do I want to use the Requiem effect now before the Sage hits the field? But I decided, let me just save it because if he does use Sage to negate Requiem, I can just chain SP. But that still wouldn't help, I believe. Oh yeah, he was just resolving. Sorry, I forgot. He did activate Regenesis Archfiend, resolving, and I believe he added Regenesis, just the Regenesis spell card. And on resolution, I will activate Requiem to summon our Lacrima. Lacrima is obviously going to send Fiendsmith Paradise. We need a disruption. When he special summons, whether it's the Sage or another Regenesis monster, or whether he XC summons, Fiendsmith Paradise will trigger to send out Desiree. Desiree can send one card he controls to the graveyard. So we can try just get rid of some monsters and see if we can survive. So back to our opponent. Let's see what play he is going to do next. So now our opponent is going to summon the Sage onto the field, establishing his negate. On the summon of the Sage, I decide to activate Fiendsmith Paradise. Opponent is thinking whether he wants to negate it or let it go through. He is letting it go through, so we will send Fiendsmith Desiree to grave. And on a new chain, Fiendsmith Desiree will activate. We will shuffle back Requiem. I believe it was the ideal card because we do have Engraver for our next turn. We can just simply shuffle back the Desiree to summon Engraver. So we'll shuffle back the Requiem. I do target his Sage. We can force out that negate and get rid of one monster on our opponent's field. So he lets it go through. Sage is now going to go to grave. I see the two cards in Ron's hand is Draw and Cross Out Designator. Okay, so next, Ron is going to activate Regenesis. I can't remember the effect of Regenesis. It could maybe add, or it allows him to special summon a Regenesis from deck. So in response to that, I decide to activate SP to banish one of his monsters, which will obviously be the one copy of Regenesis Archfiend. Get rid of one less monster and try see if we can try survive. So Regenesis is actually going to special summon Regenesis Warrior from his deck. But now Regenesis Code has a graveyard effect. He can banish it, but I believe he did activate Regenesis Code in a previous turn, because you can't use both effects in the same turn. So the turn it wasn't sent to grave, he can banish it from grave, and he can special summon a Regenesis monster from his graveyard, which will obviously be bringing back the Sage. And now here, he attempts to enter battle phase. He can just use one of the monsters to crash into Lacrima, and he can just attack for game for 5,000. We're already at 4,000. So Ron takes game number 2, and now we are going into game number 3. Now, obviously, we are siding out our Lightning Storms and Hoppy's Feather Duster. We're still going to keep the Droplet. It's a good disruption against our opponent. And I wasn't sure what other cards we could play. We're going to take out the Fualos. However, we're going to keep one copy of Fualos for a cross-out target. And all I had was Lancia and Chaos Hunter. So I was thinking whether he starts with the Kashtira cards or with Genesis plays, because I believe he could have been playing with Genesis Lord. Regenesis Lord itself does banish I believe it's a Regenesis monster to summon itself. So we can use Chaos Hunter or Lancia, to not allow opponent from banishing cards and try to slow him down a bit. I did take long. Well, not too long, but I did take long to think on what to side, so I will just skip through and head to game number 3. Okay, guys, so we are starting our turn. If I remember correctly, this time, because I messed up in game 2, our opening hand, we had Cyber Emergency, Lancia, Chaos Hunter, Cyber Dragon Nashter, and a Droplet. So Cyber Emergency is our only form of play, and we can only do Cyber Dragon combos. But I needed Cyber Emergency to search Cyber Dragon Core. So we're going to proceed to our main phase. And the first thing we're going to do, activate Cyber Emergency. We are obviously going to add Cyber Dragon Core to our hand. But on resolution, our opponent is going to activate Droll. And with this hand, the Droll really hurts us. So I just set the Droplet. And I was thinking, could I do something? And I can't. We can't use Nashter's effect, because if we were able to summon a monster with 2100 attack or defense from the grave, we're locked into machines. That's not going to serve us any purpose. So essentially at the end, I decide to pass the turn and hope for the best. So our opponent's going to start his turn, and he's going to draw. I do see he has a lot of spells and one monster in his hand, I believe. So in the main phase, activate Lightning Storm. He's going to call back row, of course, and our Droplet gets destroyed. He's going to activate Regenesis Code. This allows him to add a Regenesis monster to his hand from the deck. We have no response to that, of course, but no Ash in response to it. However, here I was thinking, okay, he did not summon any Kashtira monsters yet, so just in case he's looking for a body to enable his plays, like it could be a Kashtira Unicorn in his hand, let me just activate Lancia right now so that we don't lose a monster from our extra deck. So we activate Lancia, it resolves, and now on resolution, opponent's going to add Regenesis Archfiend to his hand. So opponent's going to use the effect of Regenesis Archfiend, revealing Regenesis Warrior to special summon itself, and activate Archfiend's effect. Archfiend will allow him to search any Regenesis card, and here I believe he did add Regenesis Sage, because he had like 4 spells. Maybe he already had the other Regenesis spell card in his hand, so he can simply add another monster. Yes, so he adds Regenesis Sage. We have no draw on resolution, of course, so he special summons the Sage, establishing the negate. I'll just pause quickly here. I was thinking, do I want to use Chaos Hunter right now? But I can just use Chaos Hunter to bait out his Sage negate, because it will get rid of 1 less monster. So I don't use Chaos Hunter's effect yet. But when he summons Regenesis Warrior, here I was thinking, okay, cool, I need to do something now, because that's 7,500 attack on the field. I am very close to losing this game. So I was just taking a few seconds to think about it. Also just reading, like if I can activate Chaos Hunter, but yes you can, because it's a when effect. When your opponent summons or special summons a monster, one of the two, we can use this effect, sending Cyberdragon and Nashta as cost to grave, because Nashta does nothing in our hand, and it has no bodies in grave to reborn as well. Opponent takes a few seconds to think about it, whether to negate it, or if he can allow it to go through, and he can have some plays in his hand or extra deck to try get rid of the Chaos Hunter and still attack us for game. I will just quickly skip through it because it did take some time. So our opponent decides to use the Sage, tributing Regenesis Archfiend to negate and destroy our Chaos Hunter. He has no other place to summon another body, so he simply enters battle and deals 5,000 damage. That is a lot of damage. But luckily, we were able to survive, guys. We do have a turn. So, in the main phase 2, opponent is thinking whether to set any cards in his hand. At that time, obviously, I did not know what was in his hand. And our opponent passes for turn. Quickly wants to read the Regenesis Warrior. I believe how it works is it tributes itself to send one monster we control to grave. I'm not sure if it banishes, but probably sends it to grave. Now, in the previous turn, after we searched core and we got hit by draw, I did not shuffle my deck. So we just shuffling, of course, shuffling before we draw for turn. Now, guys, we needed a top deck. We do have the only card in our hand is Cyber Dragon Core. And I was thinking to myself, I need a card to try help me bait out that Sage. And guys, we had a draw of the century, top deck mode, destiny draw, and that card we drew into was Cyber Emergency. Absolutely fantastic, because it is such a good negate for Sage, but also luckily our opponent did not have Ash Blossom or Draw on Resolution. Absolutely fantastic. So we used Cyber Emergency. I was thinking what to add. I was about to add the wrong card, but then I realized, oh wait, I can add Cyber Jormungandr. There's a perfect situation to use this effect, and it's a really good negate bait, because Cyber Jormungandr, as you guys already know, or if you don't know, we can use its effect as our opponent controls a monster, and we can take Cyber Dragon from our deck, either equip it or special summon it. Obviously, we're going to special summon Cyber Dragon. That is 2 level 5s on the field, and that's a 1 card infinity to get our negate. So we can use its effect, and here, Ron has a decision to make. He could use Sage to negate and destroy, or if he just lets it go through, he can use Regenesis Warrior just to send one of our level 5s, to the graveyard, so that will slow us down on the possibility of summoning Cyber Dragon Infinity. And now, I wasn't the other possibility is if he does use Regenesis Warrior, Sage could still be live because he may have a Regenesis name. I'm not sure if Sage attributes a Regenesis monster or a Regenesis card to negate, but that could have been one possibility. But instead, he uses Sage tributing the warrior to negate. So that means he does not have a name in his hand. And guys, we are safe, because when we summoned Core, Core's effect is resolving. So we add a Cyberdark Realm, and we already knew he did not have Joel. So we are in game, boys. We're in game. We use Cyberdark Realm. We're obviously going to search our Cyberdark Chimera. This is the 1 card Cyber Dragon Core combo. Effect of Realm to normal summon our Chimera. Luckily, it goes through. I wasn't sure what Ron could have had in his hand. Then we use the core. We're going to link summon into our link 1 Clockwork Knight. On summon effect as cost, we're going to send Cyber Dark Realm to grave so that we can search our continuous spell, Clockwork Knight. Now we obviously have to use Clockwork Knight's effect. We're going to target our Cyber Dragon core in grave to reborn itself. Oh, but before that, sorry, skipped a step. I shouldn't be doing this. We will use Chimera's effect first, discarding Clockwork Knight as cost to search our Power Bond. Now that we have Power Bond, we are able to banish from grave, perform the fusion summon, and now here I use Clockwork Knight. We're going to target a core, tribute the Chimera to Reborn itself, just to get Chimera in grave so that its effect can trigger to send Cyberdark Worm to grave. Now guys, if you reach this point, then you can safely confirm your opponent does not have any interruption. So it's game, guys. We're going to activate Cyberdark Worm. As cost, we will send Cyber Dragon Hurts. Cyberdark Worm will special summon itself, and we can add any Cyber Spell Trap that's in our grave back to our hand. I just add the Cyber Emergency back to our hand. On New Chain, we will use Cyber Dragon Hurts effect. It's obviously going to search Cyber Dragon because we don't have another Cyber Dragon name in our grave. Now here, I decide I need Powerbound to resolve, but in case my opponent has Nibiru, we will use Clockwork Knight's Graveyard effect now, banishing and discarding a card as cost. I discard the Cyber Emergency, but now that I think about it, I could have just discarded Cyber Dragon and keep the Cyber Emergency as follow-up for the next turn. I probably should have done that. So we're going to resolve Clockwork Knight. We're going to get our boy Therion King Regulus to our hand. Next, after resolution, we're going to use Clockwork Knight and Cyber Dragon Core to go into SP. Don't use SP's effect, guys. You need to attack directly. So I just simply use it so that I can have Clockwork Knight in grave. So I can activate Regulus to equip Clockwork Knight to it. Now we have our negate. So now here we can just activate Power Bond to Fusion. And thankfully, it goes through. So we'll use the Cyber Dragon Hurts and the Core in grave. Don't use Cyberdark Worm because I'll just quickly pause. Okay, we summon Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon because if something happens where we can't kill our opponent, you have Cyberdark Worm and you have Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon, and you can just go into Cyber Dragon Nova, continue plays like a regular Cyber Dragon combo to set up your board. We won't use Rampage Dragon's on-summon effect to pop any spells or traps. So we're going to use its other effect to send 2 Light Machine monsters. So here I did make a mistake. We already had Nashter in grave. I should have sent Cyber Dragon Core and actually... Oh wait, sorry. We did have Cyber Yomangato. My bad. I completely forgot. Both of them are already in grave, so we'll just send 2 other names. I was just checking my grave if how many other names I had. I believe I only had 1 more Cyber Dragon Core in my deck. So guys, Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon through the effect of Powerbond is at 4,200 attack, and he can attack 3 times, and my opponent only has 1 monster on the field, so we enter battle phase. And we're going to use Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon to destroy the Sage, deal a bit of damage, and now we can still attack twice, but my opponent did not have anything. We won the game. It was Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon, the OTK machine, well, not OTK because this is like turn 3, I believe, or turn 4, winning the game for us. Ron does scoop, and we just see in his hand he had Kashtira Theosis, but no Kashtira name, and he had Ultimate Slayer, but we did set and pass after he trolled us, so Ultimate Slayer was not useful. So guys, this was the feature match. In top 8, Cyber Dragon takes the win, and we proceed to top 4, guys. 7 wins, 1 loss after this, guys. And my friend and I were just discussing after this, but I'll pause the video here. So guys, this does bring us to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the feature match. Let me know if you have any thoughts or plays I could have done during the feature match. Otherwise, guys, Naughty Nev signing out. Peace.